Everyone, it's Wolf. First things first, I'm switching to being a VR YouTuber, and that's because Destiny 2 right now is not bringing me content, whether it's because of hackers or bullcrap mechanics that ruin the game, or just being downright boring, or either that or just getting into a lobby of noobs and I'm just, playing way too well in that moment. But that kind of content to me is boring. I only want to upload content with Destiny 2 that has me, on the edge of my seat, you know, fun stuff, not just me running around wrecking everyone. And I don't think anyone wants to watch that. I mean, I know people do, but I wouldn't. I want to, I want funny things. And second is I have to use the microphone on my HMD, which for those of you that don't know is a head-mounted device, which is a headset for VR. And it's not very good. I put some stuff over the microphone, so it might sound weird. I tested it out, and it sounds good enough for me, but for some of my viewers, you might think it's weird, but it's the best I can do for now. Just wanted to let you know that. All right, so today we're just gonna run around and have some casual conversations, kind of like a, hey, welcome to VRChat. This may be your first time seeing this, so here we are, VRChat, casual conversations. Enjoy the video, and I hope to see you next time. Hey,
I don't know, to me it tastes like,
what's the difference between a human trafficker and the U.S. government?
milk sugar.
That is a fine-ass question. What is the difference between the U.S. government and a human trafficker?
Absolutely fucking nothing.
Like,
Arg, 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 arg. Got their asses. Got them all.
Yeah, I mean, it is true.
Ah, Christ.
I mean, I know it's true because I fell victim to it.
Actually, fuck.
Yeah, they did it for money. The fucking Washington State.
Which is stuff I like.
I would be interested in hearing about this tale if you were willing to talk about it.
Yeah. So I was 9 or 10, and my dad was pulled over and was questioned because he had a tear in the leather of his car, and he had it repaired. I tore it. It was the side paneling of his Cadillac. So the cops see it. They see the stitches. So they rip it off without a warrant, and he yells at them and, tries to drive away because they had no right. And at that point, legally, he was allowed to leave. But the cops stopped him and arrested him, and they convicted him of something he didn't do and went to jail for a while. So our fake grandma, which is, she's actually a grandma, but was not the one that gave birth to anyone in our family. She just, she was married to my grandpa, but divorced him. And then my parents were already born. My dad was already born at the time, him and his brother, my uncle. And so she married my grandpa after they were born. So she's like a fake half grandma kind of thing. But she also divorced my grandpa as well. But so she was supposed to pick us up and take us to our mom's or back home to where we lived with our dad until our dad was let out. She didn't. She took us to her place. The government didn't know. They looked for us. Then they finally fucking put 2 and 2 together after like a week. So they came and searched her place, and they found us. She said, "Oh, I thought this was better," and then decided, "Fuck it, you can keep them." And then, wham! That's how I got put into foster care. Is they said, "Fuck it." They didn't care, and then they fucking trashed on my mom. Found any kind of reason why we couldn't go back to her, and it was at the start. It was just all lies. I talked to them, and they said like, "Oh, you guys didn't have any food," and which is stupid. Because I don't know if they're assuming that I never checked the fridge or anything, but we were overflowed with food. We literally to the point we had to keep food in our cupboards for our plates and bowls and our spoons and knives and Tupperware and in the pantry where the laundry stuff is. We had food everywhere. And they just straight up lied that it was because we didn't have enough food.
I'm sorry.
And then when I told them that I knew they were wrong and described what it was really like, they're like, "Oh shit, he knows." And they're like, "Oh well, they never fed you." And I was like, "Dude, every day when I would come home, someone was cooking, and then every time I would come home from my friends, someone would be cooking, and I rarely ever ate it because every time I went to my friend's house, whose mom is Japanese, would always cook something for me because she's Japanese and she's too nice. So I would come home already full because I already ate,
I can try.
and they were just being complete jackasses. So we couldn't go back to mom's because of bullshit. Our dad wound up staying in prison because an ex-girlfriend of his put together this scheme to lie about said that fuck, I can't really go into detail about it. So my dad's daughter that he didn't have with my mom, this was like in the 90s or something like that. Her and her mom took off when she was newborn, and my dad hadn't met his daughter at this point, I think. But they take off. She eventually winds up with another guy around the time that my half sister is about, I think, 16. I think it was. She was sleeping with her mom's boyfriend. He was forcing her to sleep with him, and then so the mom of my half sister found out, beat the shit out of the dad, got him put in jail, and then decided to use this for some grandmaster plan to get money, and pretended like my dad was doing it too. So they convicted him, even though he hadn't seen the fuckers in like 16 or 17 years. Haven't seen from them, haven't heard from them, or anything. But of course, the government's like, hey, it will like put a good rep on our judicial system if we put him in and just say that he was proven guilty, and that will make us look like we're doing a good job at catching people or something like that. And so more foster care. I beat the shit out of the grandma that we were living with because she tried to throw me out in winter, and I had to herd her, or else I would be out in fucking knee deep snow in my underwear for like 8 hours. And then after that, she asked me, "Do you not like to live here?" And I said, "No, I fucking hate you," because I was always grounded for whatever reason. It was I got home less than a minute late from school. I was grounded. My homework was set down on the table upside down before I started it. Grounded. My pencil wasn't sharp enough. Grounded. Oh, my pencil was not was too sharp. Grounded. It didn't matter. She always had some kind of stupid ass excuse. Yet my brother was allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and so she gave us up. She gave full custody to the government. So I became a ward of the state. So this was when I became a slave. I was a slave. I was sent to a family in central Washington that used me and my brother as slaves to do their garden work, and do their mowing, their weeding, take care of their animals, all that shit. And they had us do everything. Chop their wood, even when it wasn't safe to. Just whatever, it didn't matter. They had us do it. And we thought it was they were trying to teach us how to grow. Washington State.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And so we thought they were like teaching us how to work and stuff, and which is what they had been telling us. But they made a bad mistake of not knowing that I like to climb a shit. And I climbed on top of the refrigerator. I found a notebook labeled Jason and Alex. Alex. That's me and my brother. I'm Jason. My brother's Alex. I should text him. I haven't talked to him in like fucking 4 months. I found this notebook, and it basically just breaks down our behavior and our status. And I found out from my social worker they were supposed to be they got like $5,000 to get us clothes and stuff at the start. But they didn't use it for that. And then so the notebook was supposed to be notes on how, like, if we missed anyone or if we got depression or anything, because like the state did want only to benefit, but they didn't want any kids killing themselves because that would be weird. So they were supposed to be taking note on if we complied or if we were doing okay, we acted back. But all that they wrote about, was whether or not we did our quote unquote chores. And and they literally described us as their slaves. Like, I swear to God, they called us their slaves in this notebook. And so after that, I decided I was going to do the same thing I did with my fake grandma. Is I was going to make them uncomfortable with keeping us. And it didn't work. They thought I was just going through some kind of fucking phase. And they didn't care how bad it got. It just gave them more power to send us outside to work. And it wound up getting to the point where in the summertime, I would get up at like 6 in the morning, start splitting wood and cutting the grass. And they had me cut 1 acre of grass with fucking scissors as punishment. And fucking, so for like a whole summer, which was in Washington is like 2.5 months, so it's not too long, but as a kid, it's long. Starting at 6 a.m., I would get up. You know, it's dark out, it's cold. I would be sent out in my pajamas to start working. And I'll be working out there till like 1 a.m. or whenever. Usually it was until the dad of the family got back. But then he would get back and he'd say, no, he can continue. He's got to be a man. Why don't you be a man, bitch? Take my boot up your ass, motherfucker. But, and so, life there was really fucking bad. Me and my brother hated it. The only thing we liked is we did get vacation every once in a while with them, and we'd go out for a week to ride 4-wheelers and shit on Sand Lake. They were really confusing people. I really couldn't tell whether they liked us or not. But, and eventually we got new family members, new foster kids, some Samoans, and they really became brothers to me and my brother Alex. And like, even to this day, I haven't talked to them for years, but in my heart, I miss them. They were like long lost brothers to me, and I feel like that's the only reason me and my brother survived living there, because we finally got some after three years of that bullshit. We finally got somebody that was like us, that we could relate to, that we could talk to, that we could love. And yeah, because their dad had died, their mom got into drugs, and they were brought to, they lived in Hawaii. Their mom moved with them to Hawaii from Samoa, and they came inland for foster care. They're back with their mom now. She cleaned up, became a good person. But they lived with us for like a year until me and my brother left for adoption. They really helped us out, but there's not much to tell. We just kind of played, fucked around like kids. The foster parents lightened up a little bit. We were allowed to play basketball, ride our bikes, and eventually Not too long before my brother and I left, they actually gave us freedom, and we didn't work too much. We were like we'd get home from school, chop the woods for a couple hours, and then that was it. Maybe mow the lawn once a week or something, clean up the dog crap, usual actual chore kind of things. It became normal. And then my brother and I left, and they went ahead and did it to those two kids that became family to us. A couple of years ago, I found them on a Facebook, and they told us that after we left, they became the new slaves. Uh, I don't know what was on there, but they eventually made it out to their mom, and the government actually said that they couldn't take any more foster kids because not because of what they'd been doing, because the government didn't fucking care about that. They knew they were getting the reports, but they said they had to stop only because they had met the maximum income for being a foster parent. What the fuck? And but they are allowed to adopt because I heard that they adopted someone 2 years ago, something like that, which pisses me off because I can only imagine what that kid's going through. But so we got adopted to these people all the way down on the south border of Washington, 6-hour drive. They were Mormon. We thought they were cool, but then the adoption went final. They said that if we didn't like the church, we didn't have to go. But once the adoption was final, they forced us. It was you go to church or you get out. And at this point, we were sick of being tossed around like pieces of shit. And so we conformed and we stayed. And we let it brainwash. My brother, no, he's not with the church anymore. We let it brainwash us, and we liked it for a while. But eventually I realized that something wasn't right because fucking, at least in the area, Mormons are good people, and the religion is good. But the people in the area I lived in, those ones were not. They all they cared about was themselves and what they would get out of doing something for other people, and not. It was always like, oh, you got to be a good person so that you can go to a higher kingdom of heaven. It's like, yeah, that's true, but you got to worry about the other person because they're a person, not because you're helping them for something you'll get. But anyway, so we lived with them almost 6 years, and it turned into a wild fucking shit taste. Shit chase. Sorry, I'm recording, so my microphone is playing back to me, and it throws me off. And I've also been speaking a lot of Japanese, German, Russian, Spanish, and shit. So I'm starting to forget English. Motherfucker, do you speak it? But yeah, so I can't love anymore. I mean, I can. I can grow attached to someone, but I'm afraid I don't actually love them because every time I liked someone living with this adoptive family, I would get in trouble. And it was 6 years of that. And I didn't know. I was brainwashed, not by them. They were good people. They had good intentions, but I don't think they did it right. But uh, because of how much they denied my ability to see someone that I liked, I forgot what a good liking and the difference between liking someone for real or infatuation, stuff like that. So I have problems with liking people too easily still. It's been 5 years since I left, almost, and I still have problems. No, it's been 4 years, and I still it. I've always had the dream to be a father, to start a family. But I'm afraid that I'll never be able to do it because after 4 years of people chasing me, girls chasing me and shit, I still can't. I don't believe it. It feels like a lie. It feels like they don't actually like me and they're just looking for something. No matter how much people tell me, I just can't. I don't know it anymore. But so uh, there's this one girl. Somehow my adoptive parents found out that I wanted to marry her. So they grounded me, and I was confined to my room for a year. And I was only allowed out if I agreed to do yard work. It's yard work again. It's always yard work. What the fuck? Yeah, for a whole goddamn fucking year, I was locked in my room. All I could do was eat, sleep, or stare at the wall. All my possessions were locked up, and I had nothing. Not even my brother. I wasn't allowed to talk to him for that whole year. If I did, he would be grounded for a week, locked up in a room downstairs or something like that. I can't remember. He didn't talk to me. He didn't want he didn't want to get in trouble, and he didn't want me to get in trouble. We always hated each other. We always hated each other. But like when we were kids, we had intention to kill each other. Like at some points, no joke. And I almost killed him actually. And it's just I had a flashback of that today, and it's something that I don't take lightly. But yeah. So going through all this shit, we learned to love each other more than I ever knew love. I, I just can't imagine anyone does anything weird in any way to my brother. I try to kill them. Like there used to be a kid that would nipple twist him, and I picked him up in our church gym and flipped him over and slammed him down on his head, and basically said something along the lines of, "If you fucking touch my brother again, oh English, if you fucking touch my brother again, I will goddamn motherfucking kill you." And I wasn't allowed to go to church for a week because I did that right in front of everyone. And my adoptive dad was actually the bishop at the time. In the Mormon Church, they have wards, stakes, and regions. And in the ward, they have a bishop, which is basically someone that makes sure the church service goes good and stuff, and stays on task. But so I got in a lot of trouble. But anyways, back to the grounded thing. I was grounded for a year, but halfway through it, I stole my phone back. I found my childhood best friend, and I was suicidal. I got lucky that I found out how to connect the phone to the internet. I found the password and was able to find my friend. Um, and I basically asked him about if he still lived at the apartment we did as kids, and he did. And he said he was pretty sure he had seen my sister around. So I found my sister, and she agreed that when I turned 18, she would come and get me. And so uh, I said okay, and then basically my childhood best friend kept me alive for that last year because eventually I was ungrounded. I went back to being normal, except after that they kept treating me like shit, and a lot of family members were dying, and it just got bad for my foster mom. So I guess she went really hard on us. They were good at this point, but I feel like she let her pain and loss get in the way and forgot how to treat people. Um, So when I turned 18, I left, which was a bad idea because I thought my brother still hated me. But when I left, um, I was staying at my biological sister's, and I eventually learned that my brother stopped eating, stopped socializing, uh, didn't even bother with his own dog, wouldn't do anything because I left without saying anything. And I'm glad he's not quick to be depressed like me, because if I were him, I probably would have killed myself. But he's a lot stronger than me. He's like 2 years younger than me. I'm really proud of him. He's my life is fucked. I screw up at everything. Yet he's become more of a man than I could ever be. He's already got a girlfriend. They would already have kids, but she can't have kids because she has a heart condition. So if they do the deed, they can't do it much because her heart rate would get to a point that it kills her. So he's already, I think he already owns a house, and they're living together. He's got nice trucks, dogs, and he's only 20. But yeah. So I eventually go back to the adoptive parents, and things were actually nice. And I left again, but the reason was for college and trying to figure out how to live on my own, which didn't work. I lost my job because some girl that ran our front counter chased off all the customers, and we lost more than half of our usual income. So me being one of the newest guys got let off. Yeah.
Also, look behind you.
I broke a thing.
Bruh.
Dynamic bone, but nothing else.
On this note, hold that thought. This story is way longer than I expected, and I have to urinate. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. I left out
Last
details.
thing you said was something about some lady who kept driving away business or something?
Oh yeah. And me being the newest guy, I got laid off. Uh, actually, half the store got laid off, and so I had to go back to my adoptive parents because I ran out of rent money. I was selling everything that my heart would let me get rid of, which was almost nothing. And I still couldn't get a new job and afford rent, so I had to leave and move back. And they helped me figure things out. They they basically supported me. But I forgot to say, the first when I turned 18 and left, I was trying to find a job so I could leave my sisters and get my own apartment. But I didn't have a phone number. My phone got canceled. My adoptive mom she stole the last $400 in my account. I didn't have my social security card or anything, so I couldn't get a job like at all. It was impossible. So eventually, my sister stopped caring to help me and kicked me out, and I was homeless for 2 months, doing just sleeping on a rock in the middle of the open. Just this guy in
in a Italian suit, so I didn't look poor, so I couldn't ask for help. People think I was crazy. Just sleeping on a rock every day for 2 months, doing nothing. Couldn't do anything, and I kind of gave up and contemplated how I would kill myself. Uh, whether it was jump in front of a car or find some of the fuckers that ran around at night, shotguns and knives, and try to get them to do something. But I couldn't do it because I kept thinking of my friend, and he was also suicidal after I disappeared when I was 10, and I didn't know what he would do if he heard that I killed myself. It was the only thing that kept me alive. Um, so eventually, I got a hold of my adoptive parents and begged them to take me back because I was dying. I was starving and didn't. My stomach was black. I couldn't feel anything, and I didn't tell them this. They still don't know. And you're like the eighth person that I've told so far. This is 4 years ago. I don't talk about it because I don't know how people react. But so they got the feeling when they talked to me. My adoptive parents had they said that basically a voice told them that they had to take me back or I would be gone, I guess. And they didn't know what it meant. They never had any idea that it meant I would be dead. They thought it was that I would cut off ties and never talk to them again. But so I went back, barely survived, got my first job. They helped me out, and I basically have a rough love situation with them because when my life is going good, something happens with them that ruins it. But when I'm at the bottom, they always pick me up and treat me like a king, and they make sure that I'm okay. They at least they at least make sure that I'm that I'm not I don't know. Uh, they help me and I love them. But so I go back, um, live with them for almost a year again, and it was good. But something happened. I can't even remember. I got mad and left again, back to Everett, back to somewhere my sister's. But I was only there for like a few hours because I called up my adoptive mom again, and holy shit, I'm a mommy's boy. And said I couldn't find somewhere to stay. My deal with my friend wasn't what I thought it was. He didn't actually get permission for me to get roomed in his apartment. Um, so even though she was almost home, 6 hour drive, she turned around and came back to get me. And I finally realized that she actually cared, and because it cost her over $800 to do all that driving in one day, and I realized that she cared, but it was hard, and that's when I realized that it was probably because all of her family was dead. Her mom and dad died within a week of each other, and then like 2 weeks later, uh, her brother died, and then sometimes someone else died. She was losing everyone, so I guess she was having a mental, I guess, instability because of all this trauma. so she would lose herself because she had changed. When we first moved in, she was one of the greatest people I'd ever met. And over the years, that changed. And eventually it came out of her again. And I left again another year later. And this time was bad because I fell into the deepest depression that I ever knew because I hang out with my best friend a lot, but whenever I wasn't hanging out with him, I was talking to some girl, and after a while, I said that I think I liked her, and I didn't know what to do because I haven't liked anyone like that in years, and it felt like it hurt, but I didn't know. I couldn't tell. I forgot what it was like. So we talked for a while, and something happened with her and someone she knew, and it hurt her. So she cut me off. She felt like she was a bad person and would do something to hurt me, and she cut it off for a week. And she left me thinking I thought she was going to kill herself. It sounded like she said that she wanted to say goodbye and she was going to end it. And so I worked at Wendy's at the time, and a couple days after screaming my head off and dying inside, I locked myself in the store's walk-in freezer and basically just take a nap and wait to die. And I wake up to a phone call from my manager, which is really weird because I feel like the universe wants to make me die, but it won't let me at the same time because my phone didn't work in that freezer because it was negative 20. And so my phone would usually die within a couple of minutes of going in there. Plus, it was a thick walled freezer, so I had no signal whatsoever no matter what I did. Uh, Yet somehow, with no signal, it literally said I had no signal, no connection. I was able to get a call from her. And she said, basically manager things like, "What the fuck are you doing? You've been in there for like an hour. Like, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she's like, "Okay, well, whatever." And so I decided, something told me that it wasn't time to die. So I got up, finished packing the food, and got out. And they let me take a break because I could barely move. I couldn't feel anything. Like, I couldn't feel my legs or my arms. And they knew something was up because I didn't look okay. And it was, I looked terrified. Uh, my They don't know what it was, but they knew something was up. So they gave me a break for a couple hours to go to the lobby, eat, take a nap. They thought I was tired, like beyond tired. And so a week later, the girl contacts me again to say that she's okay, but she doesn't want to talk to me because she still believed that she would wind up hurting me. And I tried to get her not to leave, and she did anyways. And then a couple days later, she came back and she said she thought about it because I told her that yes, at this point I loved her like crazy, and I told her that yes, I love you, but if you're gonna leave, I do want to say at least stay as my friend because you're the best person I've ever had in my life. And so she did stay, and we stayed as friends. And for years, 2 years, uh, I kept every time I thought maybe I was interested in something, memory of her came back and tossing around in my mind. Do I actually know, or is this real, or or do I still love her or not? Because that wouldn't be good to get into a relationship with someone if I still love someone. And fucking so I gave up. I went homeless again in the January of that winter, and she was really busy with work. So was I, and I sat down and stopped eating and tried. This time, I decided it was it. I was going. I was gonna just fucking die, be done, and I'm still alive from that one so many fucking times because my best friend uh, knew when I was close to he. I don't know. He thought I was just starving because of homelessness and money. My boss took me off the schedule for 2 weeks, so I quit because I needed to find somewhere to live. And my friend would force me to eat. He would buy something and keep me in the store and say I wasn't leaving until I ate. So I'm still alive because of him. And um, I went through that for about 4 months, and fucking. So I I I didn't know what to do. My friend started getting short on money and said that I need to figure something out because he couldn't help me anymore. It got down to that he would pay bills and then he was broke. And I was sleeping in his car eventually. And he said that I was doing damage to his car from breath and stuff all night. And he wanted me to stay in there if I was okay with it. But he said that he was giving me a deadline because he wanted me to have an ultimatum of I had to find somewhere to stay. Um, because he said that if I didn't find out by some point, he would kick me out of his car because he figured that would give me some kind of crazy ass motivation to do some stupid ass shit to get the money that I needed to stay in an apartment. And eventually, I couldn't figure anything out. I lived in Everett. This was in Everett at the time, and it's next to impossible to get a job there. And so I call up my adoptive parents again. Decide one more time. I say it again. It's not time to die. And I bumped into some missionaries from the church, and I was done talking to them. I got the feeling that I should call my adoptive parents, so I did, and asked them if I could come back because I wasn't doing good at all. I hadn't talked to them; they didn't know what was going on. So they asked me if I came back, what I could do for them because I was an adult. I should already be able to live on my own and solve this kind of problem. And so they said if I came back, what could I do to help myself? And for the first time, when asking someone for help, it wasn't what I could do for them. They asked me what I could do for myself. How would I benefit? And I said I didn't know. I just didn't want to die because I got new motivation to live, and they took me back, and again they helped me, and uh, so I lived with them for a while, but things didn't work. I started getting accused of not doing work because I was working on a project for my adopted mom's business. She went on vacation and she left it to me, and I didn't save the project after 2 days of work, and Chrome crashed and lost it all. And she believed that I didn't do it because she had a security camera in there to watch her computers so that they wouldn't get stolen. And I moved them because some guy from the church came to interview my brother, and it's not allowed to be recorded or anything like that. So I moved the cameras so they could have that room, and with my ADD, I forgot to move them back. And Sunday morning, I moved them back, finished the project, and she accused me of not doing my job. And she said I could either do something for her, like extra work, or leave. And I hate when people say that I did something that I didn't, or didn't do something that I did when I promised to. So I said, no, I'm leaving, because I contacted my biological mom, said I was done, uh, and wanted to get out of there, restart my life. And because once again, I wasn't suicidal, but I was hoping that someone would kill me. I purposefully started making people hate me. So I was hoping someone would try to kill me, even to the point that one of my adopted brothers, who has anger issues, I tried to figure out how to get him to hate me in that way, because um, when I was like 14, when I'd been living with them for not too long, when we were in court to finalize, he told court that he actually came into my brother's room and I with a knife and wanted to kill us, but didn't do it, only because he knew that he would get caught and put in jail, or else he would have done it. So I knew he had that potential to do that to someone, but I guess he never got to it because I guess he uh, really worked himself out, and his anger issues were a lot better at this point. So he whenever I did something weird or something that would piss him off, he assumed I was just not having a good time or something. So it didn't work. Um, uh, After a few months, I moved to my biological mom's in Minnesota, and basically, slowly, very slowly, worked myself back up to having a legal job, making money, and surviving. And that's where I am now. It's living in Minnesota with my biological mom, and just I don't even know. I don't know why I'm alive, what I'm going to live for. I have dreams and goals, but with with how bad I failed, I don't know if I could even do them. So I guess I've settled for less, and I do my job, I talk to my friends, and I do nothing. I don't even try anymore.
Fuck. That is exponentially more fucked up than I could have ever possibly imagined.
You're
That pains me in several capacities.
you're actually the first person I've been able to tell the whole story to, because I couldn't remember too much, but somehow I just remembered all of it somehow, and I don't know what I don't know what to think.
I know, I don't blame you for like repressing at least most of that. I would probably do the same. Listen, man, you want to add me on Discord or something? We could talk about this more anytime.
Sure. My Discord is the same as my VRChat name, capital W as well, and the number is 0001.
Okay, I think I sent a request. Thank you for sharing, though. Like,
Yeah.
damn, this is such a weird thing to follow up a what was it? A joke about child trafficking? Fuck.
Yeah, that's how I got the joke,
Started
is
so lighthearted.
experiencing it. Oh, my controller hates me.
So that started when you were 9. How old are you now?
I'm gonna be 22 in 2 months.
Ah, fuck, it's not even that far behind you. That really sucks.
Yeah. I fuck. I don't know. I feel like
I feel like you should definitely probably text your brother.
yeah, the only reason I haven't talked to him is because time difference. He's busy with work and stuff. He's usually asleep by the time. Or no, I'm ahead of him. The fuck? I'm usually asleep by the time he's available, and by the time I wake up to go to work, he's asleep. Because I always, being as lifeless as I am, I always wake up last minute and basically throw my clothes on. Don't even eat breakfast or lunch. Rarely ever eat dinner. And just go to work. Come home. Immediately hop on VRChat. Just do whatever the fuck.
Huh. Did you mention what kind of work you're currently doing?
I work for a company called Nebraska Next Day. I handle DHL stuff, so international packages. In in a building for a company called DigiKey, we handle their outbound and inbound packages from overseas. Oh, no, wait, just international. We do mainland as well, so Mexico, South America, and Canada. Yeah, so basically, I push paper and boxes, load planes, unload planes, freeze my ass off, hate my life, love my coworkers. But yeah, my life is routine now. I get up, get dressed, race to work, come home, get on VRChat, do whatever my friends tell me to do, whether it's stupid, disgusting, fucking degenerate, or whatever. Go to bed. And if I eat, I'm lucky to eat because I don't care to eat. I'm not starving. I eat when I'm hungry, but I don't get hungry often.
Hello.
Hashtag gay, hashtag lesbian, hashtag bisexual. No. All the gay hashtags.
Listen, tell me about your coworkers.
Well, one of them is a weeb piece of shit like me. Just kidding. He's awesome. We both like anime and really like video games. I like to talk to him because he's a dad. He's 2 years older than me, and he's got two kids, and trying to get married to his girlfriend, but they're having financial problems with. They lived in some apartments, like committed fraud on them, and so they're suing those apartments, and they're winning, but they don't have the time, energy, or money for marriage right now. But I like to talk to them because I have an idea on like what it's like to be a dad, but I need to confirm, and I don't even know if it's worth it because I don't think I'm anywhere close to falling in love ever again. Don't know if I can. I want to. I feel like I can, but I just don't know if anyone can love me. But anyways, and he really likes video games too. Like he's the first person I've met in real life that enjoys all the same games and anime as I do. So we always have some stupid shit to say. We're always you know laughing our asses off at work all the time. Uh, so there's him. Then we work with this older guy. He's really funny because he started out life being a attention whore, which he loves that label. Like he lives by it. He calls himself an attention whore. He needs it. He was a racer. He drinks a lot of beer and just, I guess he's the same. He wakes up, goes to work, goes out, maybe hangs with some friends, drinks beer, does whatever. Then there's my boss. One of the nicest bosses that I've had. She understands every problem that we have. She's okay with any reason that we need to call off from work. She may question it, like my coworker, the one that's weebish like me. Uh, he called off because he had snow on his parking lot or his driveway, and it didn't look very high, and so we thought he was lying, but about not being able to drive. But she was okay with it because she trusted his judgment because it was his driveway and it was his car. So she is probably the most human manager I've ever had, other than Walmart. Because when I worked for Walmart, my first job, they really, really, really cared about everyone. And she reminds me of them because she cares and she's nice and she talks to you. She makes sure that if you're underperforming, she checks to see if you're okay, all that. Um, and it's it's it kind of hurts me because my coworkers, they're the first people to ever see the depression on my face because I have something similar to what people call a resting bitch face. Um, but It's because I'm void of emotion, basically. And for the first time in my life, my coworker said, first person ever to say, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And he says, "You look like you want to die." And I don't know, it kind of shook me because I always thought that I looked depressed, but I figured it wasn't that bad because no one ever asked. Um, so I took a look in the mirror after work that day, and what I saw looking back was the saddest, lifeless face I'd ever seen. And I've seen people who have lost everything, and even though I don't compare, I'm nowhere near as bad as many other people, yet I had the most lost looking face I'd ever seen. And it makes me feel worse about myself because knowing that, I want to know why people don't look at me and don't ask me if I'm okay. And just
So, do you tell your friends and coworkers like your past traumas?
no,
Okay.
it's not easy for me to talk about it. I'm not one to cry. It doesn't matter. Like I can break bones, lose a friend, stuff like that. I can't cry anymore, as you can probably tell why. But uh, everyone's like remembering my life. It hurts, and but today I got to thinking about something that scared me and hurt me, and so I cried today. That's the only reason why I'm starting to cry right now. But I've already cried. My head already hurts. My eyes already hurt. So it's just not coming. But I don't talk about it. I tell people some things, and some of my friends can piece it together, but I've never actually sat down and just given the whole entire story.
That is fair. Not only is it a very long and slightly confusing story, it is also deeply fucking traumatic. Holy hell.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine, on some level, it might be cathartic to sort of give people the whole picture. So you should maybe do that more. But it's up to you.
I've always wanted to. There's been friends that I want to, but I feel like I don't know how long it's been. I don't know how long it took to tell this, but I always feel like there's too much and no one has time. So that's why I always like tell a little bit or let it come naturally. Like they'll ask me a question about something and I'll tell them what comes to mind about memories that relate or something. But that reminds me, one of the worst things out of all this is that I have ADD. So not only is it hard for me to do anything out of motivation, but if I set plans and try to do better, my ADD, no matter what, makes me forget. I could set an alarm and it could say, I don't know, like, the thing where someone will like put a sock in the middle of the room because they can't remember things easily. And they'll come in and be like, "Oh, why is this sock here? Oh, that's right, because I'm supposed to, make dinner or something."
Oh yeah, fuck, I do that. I make myself little memory effigies. I like leave something knocked over. I'll be like, why is this knocked over?
Stuff like that.
Oh shit, I was supposed to take out the garbage.
Stuff like that doesn't work for me. Uh, Whenever I try it, later I'll find the sock or I'll find the note or whatever, and for the life of me, I will accuse someone else of doing it. And I can't remember the last time I did it because I never remember. I don't remember, and I never realize if I do something like that. But yeah, because of my ADD, if I have plans or something, I always forget. Like, I'm really trying to learn Japanese because I want to be an English teacher. I want to start in Japan, be there for a while, maybe go to Russia or Germany at some point. But I can't remember to be
Sorry.
sorry. Uh, I can't remember to do my studies, and and, and then just when I do, and I learn a couple of words, phrases, or whatever in Japanese, I start to realize that if I can't even fucking learn or remember anything, no matter what I do, I probably can't be an English teacher. Like, they would still accept me easily, but I would probably get there and not do too good and be one of the ones where I correct on what I know, and I'd feel like I'm not actually being beneficial. I'm not actually helping anyone, which is something I feel like I have to do because of my past life. I feel like everyone I meet, no matter what, you can be a friend, you can be someone I don't know. I feel like I have to take care of you, make sure you're doing okay. And at the slightest feeling that I'm not accomplishing that, I shut down and I hide and I uh, just fucking I hate who I am for a while, and not so much anymore because it's happened so much that whenever I am failing, I just kind of shut down and stop feeling, and then start daydreaming of fucking being an English teacher or just driving or eating or just whatever. But and I guess I did have my ADD solved around the time that I was 17, but after the starvation thing and all the work and failure, it got much worse than it's ever been. I'm pretty sure if I went back to school, I used to have straight A's. I graduated top of my class, but if I went back, I guarantee I would have really, really bad rep, at least 3 Fs. I know I would fuck history really bad, but science, I would ace it. I'm really good at science for some reason, even though I don't care for it. I hate science because, I mean, I enjoy it, but the way science works, like physics and stuff, I hate physics because it makes some physics make life too hard. Math, if I think about math and work with it for a while, I get good at it. But if I take like a single day of not doing it, I go back to ground zero. And even addition is hard. I guess that's the same with everyone. But PE, I'm good physical, but like PE uniform, I'd rather fucking die. Um, um, yeah, I'm just, like I said, I go to work, I come home. I basically let other people tell me what to do because I don't know what to do anymore.
I mean, fuck. I can understand that. Can you remember when you first started listening to what other people tell you?
No.
Okay. It would have been interesting if you could cite that, but I can understand this whole sort of memory of yourself being all muddled. You should definitely probably text your brother sooner rather than later, because there's a very real possibility that he feels almost exactly the same you do.
Yeah. I think I'll text him on my lunch break tomorrow if I can remember.
Be wise. Oh yeah, when do you work? I don't suppose I'm like keeping you up or anything.
No, I'm keeping myself up. I don't even think it's even. Oh shit! Yeah, it's 2 a.m. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fucking late. We've
I
been
usually
here
go to bed.
2 hours.
I usually go to bed about 2:30. But yeah. I start work at 10:30, and I work to 7.
Okay, it's not nearly as bad as I thought.
Yeah, and I like it too because this is the first job where I've had like a solid schedule for like the past I think 6 months. I think it's been Monday through Friday, 10:30 to 7. So it's easy for me to remember because all I had to do was set the alarms when I started the job, and and since it's the same thing every day, it works. I'm not late for work, and I don't overwork my shift. And I think I think my manager actually knows what I'm capable of, and since in my previous jobs I had coworkers lying about my capabilities, which I don't blame them. I believe it's because when you're like tired, you perceive things as slower. I've always had jobs where you have to move quickly, and all of my coworkers are usually shitbags who don't sleep and always fucking high on a new drug every 2 days, so they don't know what they're seeing or experiencing. So they see me, the new guy, and they think, oh, this guy's slow as fuck. When really, me, the guy who's only had like 5 drinks in his life and hasn't done a single goddamn drug, is actually busting my fucking ass. Uh, Literally to the point that I should be hospitalized to make sure that everyone's job is done so that no one gets fired. And when I worked at Wendy's 2 years ago, I was literally doing everyone's job. I didn't do drive through. I refused to because I was scared of fucking up orders. And I felt like it was something I wasn't capable of. But I was doing grill, dishes, front counter, cleaning the lobby, taking care of the freezer stuff, all that. I was doing everyone's job, and I was miserable. And didn't help that this was also during the time that I was starving, so that made it worse. But my coworkers kept telling my manager that all I was in the way, slow, didn't know how to do my job, which I couldn't do my job. I was always doing somebody else's. And so my manager got mad at me, believing everyone, no matter how much I had to keep telling her that it was because I was literally the only reason her store was still running because I was doing everyone's job. And uh, when district asked me why, uh, I told them it's because even though they weren't too nice, I still loved them because when it comes to humanity, because of what I've been through, I know that life can be hard, and people think they have it hard, but usually, like, people always like, I'm short on money all the time after paying rent, stuff, and food. I can't buy this game that I want, or this shirt, or these shoes. I try to help them because even though it's not that bad, I still remember not having, like when I was a kid, I still remember, being happy, and, my worries were the simple things like, what am I going to get for Christmas? Or, I'm not getting chocolate milk or something. I remember that those were things that upset me, and I feel like if people have too much of that, it'll just be fuel to make their life like what mine is, and they'll eventually spiral into some kind of fucking traumatic bullshit. And I don't, I don't want anyone to be like me. I can't stand it. Every 3 months, 6 months, I I get suicidal, and I can't do it to myself because I always think of my best friend, what will happen to him if he can't talk to me, or he finds out that I'm dead, or or I'm too scared of what comes after death, which is actually what I broke down about earlier today. A friend of mine was in an argument, and somebody else interrupted to explain that it was they didn't like to hear it because um, they've lost people and stuff. He mentioned a friend of his died, and got me thinking of what comes after death. And the friends that I do have, that I still have, I can't lose them. Every time I lose a friend, another bit of my soul is gone, and I don't even know the next friend I lose. I don't even know, because I lost a friend last Monday. It was actually I forgot to mention this. I was saving this to be uh, chronological to the story, but last Monday, that girl that I told you about, that I was talking to, uh, that um, had the problem and cut me off, and then came back, and we stayed as friends. She last Monday, she blocked me, and after I left a message, because back in November I wrecked my car because I fell asleep, and I don't know how I survived. It was just, it was bad. I cut my head open. I cut my hands pretty bad. Um, um, and so I messaged everyone that I knew that I loved them, and I was glad to be their friends. And they made every day of my life survivable, because at the end of the day, I could come back and I could have something to do. Because I could say, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And they would tell me what to do. Um, and I got scared of death after that. I wasn't before at all, but I finally was. I feared death for a little bit, and then after a couple of days, I wished I just died. And at that point, I didn't care what happened to my best friend. I didn't care about what came after that. I I couldn't take being a failure or not doing anything. Uh, and I guess the message I left her saying that she was the greatest friend I ever had, or whatever, and thanking her for being there, and then said that I almost died, and I don't know how I was alive, because even law enforcement, when they found the car, they called my mom, said that they found her car, and whoever was driving it should be dead, but there's no one inside. And she said it was me, and they asked me if I was okay. I was just kind of sitting there chilling. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I I only have a stage 1 concussion, which is just like my eyes are shaking. That was it. That was all I got. I basically explained all of that to her, and she didn't respond. And I guess uh, that was when she blocked me, because I didn't try to message back, because I felt there was no reason to talk. I thought she was too busy, and I didn't want to intrude. And so last Monday, I tried to text her to say that I wanted to commission her, because she's an artist, and I wanted to get some Twitch emotes and badges and stuff. So I went to her first, because I know her and I trust her. But when I hit send, Discord said that they blocked me and they're gone. I can't talk to them anymore. I don't know if I'm okay.
Fuck. Well, listen. We all have a tendency of saying stupid stuff, right? So anything I say from here on out, or even things that I've said before, probably stupid as hell, right? But listen,
Yeah.
in my opinion, it seems to me that people are just sort of by their very nature here today, gone tomorrow, right? You can't really try. You gotta sort of try to not get attached to people, right? You're not wrong to. There's nothing wrong with getting attached, but you sort of have to be ready to accept that they may be gone at pretty much any moment, and that's just sort of the nature of it. But you should look forwards to meeting more people, like you and me right now. I think that is really good in some capacity.
I did think that, but it hurts me more, because I
Just woke up.
well, to finish off with what happened with the blocking, it's because 2 years ago, when we decided to just stay as friends, I promised her that I wouldn't love her, and I didn't, and I wouldn't again. And I still did at the time, but I didn't want to lose her, so I lied. And so for the 2 years, I've been off and on, wondering if I did. And eventually, I decided that I didn't, and I realized I was lying to myself. But I was okay with that, because, yeah, I loved her, but I was happy. If she's happy, I was happy. So it's all that mattered. And so with what I explained to her, I figured I deleted it, so I can't even remember what I said. But
I just woke up.
I think what I said was basically, I think she confused it as a love confession, and that I was breaking my promise.
You woke up in what?
Um,
Yeah, just woke up.
what is? Oh, And as for the people coming and going, the whole death thing I was thinking about earlier today was
Yeah, 4 hours.
like after death,
But you have work
like
now.
we don't know what happens, and
Again.
I don't want to lose my friends. And if if we die,
I can maybe tell you something comforting. I don't know if this will really make sense, but I don't think death is so scary due to my understanding of it. Maybe you might feel the same way once I explain. Are you interested?
yeah.
Okay, so consider this, right? Once upon a time, we didn't exist. Now we exist again, only to not exist again. So it seems from my perspective, right, that we have somehow already conquered non-existence. And if that is what death is, if death is just fundamentally non-existence, we've somehow already been there, and here we are now actively resisting it, you know?
Mhm.
So technically, right, in a sense, we've kind of already overcome death. So I don't think there's anything so scary about it.
Yeah, I thought of that. I figured like if we die and come back, the friends that I have, I know I can have friends like them again, but the ones that I currently have, there could be there could even be someone that's exactly like them, but I still want them, you know.
Yeah,
And
people are definitely one of a kind.
I was worried that like if reincarnation is a thing, I'm afraid of going and then on my next life I can't even remember them. Even if they were to go, even if they had to, I'd at least want to remember them. I don't think I'm ready for anything like that. I don't know. I'm just hoping all the church stuff about heaven and seeing everyone again. Just hope, just want it to be real. I don't believe in it. Well, I want it to be.
I don't know, it's sort of an interesting problem to me because you can remember how people were, but since people are just sort of ever changing, like just constantly being something new, it's not really right to remember how they were in a sense, at least in my opinion. I think it is let me think how to word that. I think it is okay to remember people fondly in a capacity, but you sort of got to respect that they're always growing and changing, right?
Yeah.
So the best you can really do is just constantly be there for them and watch them grow and change. And if they don't want you there, then you have to respect that too. And if you can't be there for them, then that's okay too. So, you know, I don't know if that helps though. I don't know if
Yeah.
anything I just said helps, but I'd like to think it did.
I had a friend earlier tell me to try not to think about it and just live for now because it's not something that I can change and it's inevitable whatever happens. And it did help a little, but you know, yeah, just with my ADD, sometimes there's a thing that I can't forget, and this is one of them. I feel like this is gonna be something that I'm gonna hurt over for the rest of my life because it's like I forget people's names and stuff. There's a friend that I knew when I was like 7. I still remember his name clearly out of anyone else, and I miss him. I've since, like, it took me like only a couple of years ago was able to accept the fact that I would never see him again. But I still remember his name was Michael Upwoods. I don't know why. I can't remember anyone else from back then. I can't remember their names, but his I remember. And yeah, so there's some things that I can't forget. And I just got this gut feeling that this whole fear of after death, your memory's wiped and you're refreshed, and the people you knew are not who they are anymore because they've gone through the same thing. They've died, refreshed, and are reborn. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to forget this fear, and I don't know. I just, I just want, I hope to fight high fucking hell that there is some kind of mutual afterlife that we all go to. That everyone that you've met, you can see again and remember. Because, like, I don't know, I don't think I'll ever see you again, but I know that I'm always going to remember that there's that person, especially you, because I'm going to remember you as the first guy I was able to get my life story to. And I'm always going to wonder if you're okay, or if you're dead, or if you had a good day, or stuff like that. I just anytime I meet anyone, I hate it.
Listen, I am interested in keeping contact with you. I made a promise to myself at least a year ago that I would try my best to be there for people, and you are certainly a respectable person who deserves having people be there for them. So, but at the same time, all is in passing. Even if for whatever reason, maybe I die of a stroke tomorrow or something, or maybe you suffer from heart failure, anything spontaneous like that.
Pulmonary
Is
emboliums. World could die at any moment due to gamma rays from space or a pulsar star. Every single second you're at the edge of death. And due to the passage of time, nothing ever matters because eventually everything is going to turn to dust and into space clouds and collapse into black holes or turn into a new star and re-explode in another Big Bang. Therefore,
this
nothing
motherfucker
matters,
knows what's
and
up.
therefore it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter. So just leave.
My man. So listen, right? What I wanted to say was, I appreciate you. I appreciate having been here for you, and I appreciate this exchange. That's all you need to know.
Thank you. I think I'm gonna get off. I'm in a lot of pain.
Oh yeah, it's definitely probably bedtime. You hope you sleep well.
All right.